Joseph, faithful through false accusation. Joseph was Jacob's beloved son. Jacob favored him openly and gave him a special coat. Joseph also had dreams that he would one day rule. The family could see the favoritism clearly. What should have been love and guidance became a spark for resentment. His brothers felt overlooked and humiliated. Jealousy hardened into hatred. They could not speak kindly to Joseph. The home became tense and divided. Favoritism poisoned what should have been brotherhood. One day, far from home, the brothers seized their chance. They grabbed Joseph, threw him into a pit, and sold him to traders traveling to Egypt. In one day, he went from loved son to enslaved property, with no choice and no control. They tore Joseph's coat and dipped it in goat's blood. They brought it to Jacob, who believed Joseph was dead. Jacob grieved deeply. Meanwhile, Joseph was carried away to Egypt, separated from family, language, and everything familiar. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an official in Pharaoh's court. The situation was unjust and frightening. Joseph had no rights and no clear future. Yet he chose to work faithfully. He could not control his circumstances, but he could choose integrity. Joseph did not know God's plan. He could not see how anything good could come from betrayal. Still, he kept showing up with steady character. God was with Joseph, not in spectacle, but in quiet strength that sustained him day by day. Potiphar noticed Joseph's competence and trustworthiness. He promoted him and placed him over the household. Joseph earned responsibility through honest work. After trauma and displacement, life finally began to stabilize. He was rebuilding what others had tried to destroy. Then Potiphar's wife began to harass Joseph. Day after day she pressured him. "Come to bed with me." This was repeated, deliberate harassment. She had power and position, and she would not stop. Joseph was trapped between integrity and survival. Refusing could cost Joseph's safety and stability. Giving in would violate his faith and destroy his integrity. He faced an impossible situation created by someone else's wrongdoing. The pressure was real, and the power imbalance was severe. "How could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" Joseph said. He refused, even though it put everything at risk. He knew some lines cannot be crossed, even when powerful people demand it. Faithfulness mattered more than comfort. The harassment continued. Joseph tried to avoid being alone with her. One day, when the house was quiet, she cornered him and grabbed his cloak. Joseph made a split-second decision. He ran, leaving the cloak behind. Sometimes the safest response to predatory behavior is to flee. Joseph did not argue or negotiate. He escaped, but the cloak he left behind became something she could misuse. What he did to stay safe could still be twisted against him. Angry at his refusal, Potiphar's wife lied. She accused Joseph and used the cloak as proof. When Potiphar returned, she framed Joseph as the offender. Potiphar believed his wife, not the servant who had been faithful. Joseph was thrown into prison. The victim became the accused. The one who ran from harm was punished as if guilty. Integrity was treated like a crime. The system failed him completely, and the cost of doing right felt unbearable. In prison, Joseph could have become bitter. He could have stopped trusting God. Instead, he remained faithful. God was with him even there. The warden noticed Joseph's character and gave him responsibility over the other prisoners. Joseph helped 2 prisoners, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, by interpreting their dreams. The meanings came true. When the cupbearer was restored, Joseph asked him to remember him and speak to Pharaoh. Hope flickered again. But the cupbearer forgot Joseph. Joseph waited 2 more years in prison. 2 years of silence. 2 years of doing the right thing without reward. Faithfulness did not bring quick rescue, yet Joseph remained steady. Then Pharaoh had troubling dreams no one could interpret. The cupbearer finally remembered Joseph. Joseph was brought from the dungeon to Pharaoh. He interpreted the dreams and gave credit to God. In one day, Joseph rose from prisoner to leader. Years later, famine struck the land just as Joseph had warned. His brothers came for food and did not recognize him. Joseph watched carefully and tested them. He listened for their hearts. He saw remorse and change where there had once been cruelty. Joseph revealed himself. "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold." They feared vengeance, but Joseph said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to save many lives." God was with Joseph in injustice, and he is with the faithful who endure. Genesis chapter 50, verse 20.